Okay, this weekend on the shows. All right, with the meeting with Nancy, okay? Laura Ingraham, put up Laura Ingraham. You got her picture? Okay. Laura Ingraham, and I'm going to pull it up myself here. Imagine this. This was on Meet the Press, okay? So this is on Meet the Press. Imagine if he would have called out to the crowd, "We're going to build samples of the wall." All right? We are going to build samples of the wall. President Donald Trump made a lot of campaign promises. A lot of campaign promises. All right? The wall is President Trump for me. The wall is read my lips. No new taxes. Okay? George H. Bush, okay, campaigned, read my lips, no new taxes. Okay? George H. Bush cut a deal with who? The Democrats. So we're talking about, let's stay with this just a minute here. Go ahead and put up, let's switch from that. No, let's stay with that because this is the signature one I'm talking about. Now, we're all concerned, all right, just go real quick to MSNBC Rush. They even put up Rush because Rush Limbaugh said last week, is he tone deaf? Is Trump tone deaf? I mean, has he lost in his ear? Are the people around him, has he really lost the people that were keeping the reality of rural America and you and I in the president's ear? Is he tone deaf? This is all about these deals with the Democrats. So let's go back to Laura Ingraham. Here's the thing, folks. You're concerned with President Donald Trump saying Chuck and Nancy. Like, Chuck and Nancy, what are you doing for dinner? Chuck and Nancy, you want to go to a Broadway play? Whatever, okay? But you're concerned that he cut a deal on the debt ceiling. But DACA last week really concerned you. I mean, over the top concerned you about him cutting deals with Democrats, okay? Now, I for one told you last week, he has to do something. We got 800,000 of these dreamers. If we start drilling down to how many are, have criminal records in this country, certain things, it's probably not 800,000, but we do have hundreds of thousands. And I, for one, told you last week, we have to do something. Something has to happen in this country. We got to do something. George H. Bush, and not to waste your time, okay? Mr. President, there's never a such thing as a deal with the Democrats that works out. There's no such thing as a deal with Democrats that work out. Now, whether you're pushing Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell into a corner and saying, when you get your act together, we'll go back to working together, I don't know. I'll elaborate a little bit more on that later in the show, what I think. But for right now, there's no such thing as a deal with the Democrats that work out for you. Now, you would be the first. I'm saying it here on this show. You would be the first to make a deal with the Democrats that it paid off if you get reelected. If you do not build the border wall, George H. Bush, S&L crisis, savings and loans, okay? Built 14-story buildings out in Texas with no access to them. We had them sitting in the middle of the field, built in the air, no access to them, okay? S&L scandal, all right? One of our many financial collapses in this country that we just don't like to talk about. So George H. Bush campaigns no new taxes. No new taxes. Can you say Lincoln Savings and Loan? Can you say Keating? Keating? All right? No new taxes. So he gets in the White House. They come up, Mr. President, if you will raise taxes and we will dedicate the taxes to the SNL scandal, and we will dedicate that, we make sure that all the money, not scandal, but the bailout, the SNL bailout, might as well be scandal, bailout, right? And we got to do something, Mr. President. We can't just walk away from it. We have to do something. We're in for a major collapse. Does that sound familiar? But if you will cut a deal with us, we will go out and we will tell people you had no choice but to cut that deal. Now, parallel this. The reason I'm going in the Wayback Machine here is because Chuck and Nancy, right? Chuck and Nancy are coming out and they're just bragging on the president that they have a deal, they're negotiating. So that's exactly what the Democrats said to George H. Bush. We have no choice. We have to make this deal. And when we make this deal, we will come out, the Democrats will come out and say, you know, the president had no other choice but to do this. So they raised taxes. President of the United States went back on his promise not to raise taxes. Read my lips, no new taxes. Went back on that. The Democrats, in some ways, made it look like they were working with the president. But at the right time, at the appropriate moment, they stabbed him in the back, right? And you have Bill Clinton as president of the United States. No new taxes. I said it Friday, I'll say it again. Mr. President, if Nancy Pelosi in 2018 becomes the Speaker of the House, her first, I would think first, maybe not, but her first act will be bring up articles of impeachment against you, and the Democrats that so love you now will be the ones to vote for those articles of impeachment then. So the deal, be careful. The reason I keep bringing it up, Laura Ingraham, tone deaf, the wall. If you do not build this wall, if your voters, because you have to at least have your base, if your voters do not see that wall going up, I think they will accept that Mexico doesn't directly pay for it. I've said it on this show many times. Everybody says, well, Mexico's going to pay for it because they're waiting for the, Ed McMahon prize truck to show up and, the Mexican president to hand Trump a check like Publishers Clearinghouse. That may not be the case. But if you don't build that wall, it will probably be the issue, among others. But that one right there, that you won't get reelected. And if you make these deals with the Democrats and you don't build that wall, if you look and say the wall will come in time, okay? The wall will come in time. DACA has to be done first. No. Now, I apologize for bringing Congressman Doug Collins into this, but I'm going to put him on the spot. Congressman Doug Collins says, quit grabbing a mop and mopping the floor with a broken pipe that's gushing. Go fix the pipe, then grab a mop. Well, I'll tell you what, let's build a wall. Let's fix all of our border security issues. Let's stop chain migration. Has to stop. We talked to Senator David Perdue right here on this show, and the RAISE Act, he said explicitly chain migration had to stop. Okay? So let's stop chain migration, build the wall, get all of our border security in place, then let's deal with who's inside our borders of the United States of America. Let's not do a deal that may possibly allow more to come in I don't know. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. I think Rush calling him out as tone deaf, samples of the wall, interesting. Well, now, here is, let me just, I want to do two things before the break. There's nothing better than to, prove a couple things about Trump voters. So MSNBC, just want to show you, go to the one that says True Trump Voters, MTP, True Trump Voters. The first one. That's the title I get put on the picture, MTP, True Trump Voters. Is that it? No, that's number 2. There's True Trump Voters, and there you go. All right, that works. Okay, gay marriage. In favor of gay marriage. Democrats, 77% are in favor of gay marriage. So is Elton John. GOP, 42% of the GOP. And don't you find this interesting, okay? So 77% of Democrats. Now, why is it necessary to take these polls? But true Trump. Now there's a true Trump supporter, okay? There was a Trump supporter, and now there's a true Trump supporter. Only 31% of true Trump supporters are in favor of gay marriage. You racist, no good, white supremacist, Nazi-loving, whatever you are, true Trump voters. Go to number 2. Now, this is the second one. It's very important. More diverse nation. Are we a more diverse nation? Uneasy. Democrats, 10%. No, we're not a more diverse nation. Okay? Who's uneasy about being a more diverse nation? Okay? Democrats, 10%. Okay? They're not uneasy about it being a more diverse nation. That doesn't bother them. GOP, okay, but 56% of the true Trump voters are uneasy about a more diverse nation. I mean, nothing, Chuck Todd and MSNBC or NBC on a Sunday morning can't get through, absolutely can't get through the broadcast without at least, painting Trump's picture, racist and whatever. I'm going to go to break. It's 8:26. Before I do, put that picture up of Ken Burns on Face the Nation. It was a good interview yesterday, okay? Ken Burns on Face the Nation.